fine. See the last question of the day. A new disease in any part of the world is a global threat. In the context of zoonosis and emerging infectious diseases, analyze the risks for India. Also identify the structures in place and measures required to combat the risks. Again, a very pertinent question in view of COVID and the present monkeypox. So just see this question and give the framework. Yeah. New diseases emerging in any part of the world is a global threat. So very justified statement. Example, COVID-19 and the recent monkeypox. Monkeypox is a new thing which now everyone is scared. It has been declared as a health concern by WHO. Now Indians also, there are in India also there are some cases which are coming up. So yes, it's a true statement. So you can start introduction by giving the examples of the most recent COVID and monkeypox. If you want, you can give Ebola or such kind also. In the context of zoonosis, what are zoonosis? What is a zoonotic disease? Basically, zoonotic disease is the one which spreads from animal to the man. Okay, and emerging infectious diseases. Analyze the risks for India. Also identify the structures in place and measures required to combat the risk. So the three parts of the question is risk. What are the context? The zoonotic diseases just explained. Risks, first is the risks, and then structures in place and measures required. So three side headings. The first side heading is the risk for India, structures in place, and measures required. So the obvious thing is you can write something about the zoonotic diseases. Okay, so you can say that the zoonotic diseases are the ones which spread from animal to man. Okay, it has become very, previously this was not the case. Zoonotic diseases were rare, but now the zoonotic diseases are more popular and more widespread because of the close interaction of man and animal in daily quarters, day-to-day basis. So what are the risks for India? Zoonotic diseases are generally highly infectious, and India being highly populous country, the transmission rate will be very high. We have seen that in COVID, how the transmission was extremely high when the second wave was there. And then risk for India. What is another risk? There are many foreigners who are visiting India and many NRIs who are flowing into India and going out of India. So there is a risk of them bringing these diseases to India, like again COVID. Risk of diseases being brought to India. And next, what is the risk? In India, it can become an epidemic and also endemic. It can become an endemic disease in India and start to influence wide section of people. It can cause a lot of deaths. You can mention the example of second wave of COVID. And the preparedness of India itself is a major risk. To what extent India can get prepared? Yes, poor health infrastructure is a major risk. Lack of public health infrastructure is a risk. And lack of awareness regarding the safety protocols during such infectious disease getting transmitted is also a risk. And then the risk is impact on the economy and the development of India. Because you can give the example of lockdown, loss of employment and livelihood, and a probable recession. These are the risks. So what are the structures in place? Next side heading is structures in place. So what are the structures in place as on today? Then you can say post-COVID, India has learned a lot, and there are certain structures in place. Yes, INSECOG for genome sequencing to understand the how the mutation of the virus is happening. There is a committee called INSECOG Genome Sequencing Committee. They are continuously trying to understand the various variants of the mutating virus, the so-called B12, B11, the names which we are giving are being studied by them. The virus is being tested and studied by them as to how it is getting mutated. So these are the structure. And one more structure is the vaccinations. Rapid productions of vaccination is also a structure in place to combat these particular zoonotic diseases. What are the other structures in place? INSECOG, INSACOG. Sumant has written in the top, you can see INSECOG. Okay. And then what are the other structures in place? So other structures are immediate administration of vaccinations. Okay. Immediate administration of vaccination, so that today, because of the second dose and the booster dose, though COVID is still there in India, the intensity of COVID has come down. So that is a structure in place, administering the vaccinations and production of vaccinations. And then there is already Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, who are aggressively creating public awareness in trying to contain the transmission of the disease. So these are the structures in place, and special wards for isolating people within the government hospitals. Even for monkeypox, you have seen that there are special wards now. So all these are the structures in place. Now, what are the measures to be required to combat these diseases? One is to have proper interface and interaction between animals and humans. You can say we have to avoid open markets where the meat is sold. The popular example is the Wuhan market. Worst market where everything, the meat is sold in open. So banning the open sale of meat, through which there is a probability of high spread of zoonotic diseases. Maintaining proper protocols. Once the disease is identified, if someone says wear a mask, you have to wear a mask. So maintaining proper protocols. What else can be the way? What are the other ways? Quick information dissemination, and then generating awareness among the public. Okay, and we have discussed the importance of maintaining hygiene in the markets, sanitation in the public places like the public urinals, having global coordination to understand the spread of the diseases and its patterns. Yes, building up the public health infrastructure, having or the growing interaction between human and animals. The way forward is to have proper data about these particular diseases, by coordinating with the global agencies and improving the infrastructure and the public health systems in India. Yeah, vaccination of pets, good. This is also important. Treatment to animals should be there. Okay, so all these are important points. So who has written the last answer? One Health approach. Okay, Sumant, yes. One Health approach also is a good, you can put it in your conclusion. Anyone who has written the fourth? You have written too much of introduction about zoonotic diseases. You can just write 1 or 2 lines. That's all. First 2 lines is enough. What are the different pathogens, bacterial, viral, parasitic? This much is not required. Don't waste your space. It is only 150 words. Anil, directly come to the core demand of the question. You have to write 3 core demands: risks, then structures in place, and then measures. If you write more about zoonosis, you are not a zoology student, right? See, you have not written the structures and then measures. Where is the structures part? You missed it because you spend more time on the introduction. This particular 3-4 lines is not at all required. Are they asking you how the zoonotic diseases are spreading? If you want to write that, you can write in the Indian context also. Okay, you have written measures. Then what about the risks? You have written risks. What about the structures? Risks also you have not addressed all the points. The points which we discussed, try to incorporate them. Okay, you have to write about the structures in place and then measures to be taken. Measures are good. You can write about the international cooperation, international coordination, having more information systems, coordination between various ministries, coordination with the local administration. All these are the measures to be taken. You have written way forward in a point way, then where is the conclusion? Way forward, then conclusion, where is the conclusion? So I hope you are understanding, Anil, what was wrong with your approach. Content wise, it's okay. I could say average, but then presentation wise, maybe below average to average. Okay.